You no longer have to go to St. Louis or Houston or Mayo or Denver or East or West Coast to be involved in cutting-edge clinical and translational research. It's all happening right here in Kansas City. We designed Frontiers, the Heartland Institute for Clinical and Translational Research, to be a region-wide resource infrastructure asset. So when we developed this Clinical and Translational Research Institute, we asked our partners and friends at UMKC, at Children's Mercy Hospital, at St. Luke's, at Truman Medical Center to be involved, and also at KCUMB, the Osteopathic Medical School. And we are all involved in Frontiers in the push to advance clinical and translational research in the Kansas City area.
What the Frontiers program is all about is helping people get their research done, helping investigators get their research done by providing resources like this clinical and translational science unit. So what this unit does is it makes it easier for people to do their research. If they have an idea, they need equipment, they need expertise, they need nursing staff to get it done, that's what we do.
So we think we've been able to break through some barriers and some obstacles that maybe doesn't happen at the competitive business level, but at the research level, there is no competition in town. We're all doing this together. Around 2000, there was this push to put more of our NIH infrastructure research dollars behind the clinical research. And this term translational research came about too, translating from the bench to the bedside.
It's clinical research where we're taking what we've learned in mice or cells and turning it into something we're doing with patients.
We have a range of research that we do over here in the Clinical Research Center. We do bench to bedside, early phase research. We do a number of drug trials, and then we also are involved in outcomes research. After a drug or device or a new way of thinking has been out on the market to see if it's being adapted by the medical community. My career has mainly been involved in doing research in rare nerve and muscle diseases like muscular dystrophy or Lou Gehrig's disease. And at any one time, I have about 40 ongoing clinical trials in neuromuscular disease. And we are known as sort of a magnet here at University of Kansas Medical Center for doing neuromuscular research. And patients come in from around the country, around the world to take advantage of the research that we're doing. You're flying in every 2 weeks for these infusions. How's that going?
Great, great. The people here are so friendly, so welcoming. I feel so comfortable down here. Yeah. It's been a great experience. The airlines have been wonderful to work with. It's easy to get back and forth. I feel very grateful, very, very grateful.
Yeah. Did it surprise you there wasn't anyone doing this in Chicago?
Very surprising.
It surprised me too, actually.
Yes, this is the closest, and Gainesville's the next closest. It's pretty far.
Right, right. Yeah. This is one of our longest travelers for this particular research study, all the way from New Zealand. Laurie Hill, so how's it going today?
Yeah, good, good. It was a successful day, very good.
I know you were trying to get here as soon as you could.
Yeah.
And to have access to this research drug.
That's huge.
And that was quite an ordeal with the wheelchair and all the other equipment and trying to get from New Zealand here. But you did it.
Well, you had a lot of support though. I mean, you guys did the hard work. I just jumped on the plane for my
No, I think it was a lot on both ends. And then your son's here helping you out?
Yeah, he is, and that's really cool. It's a long way away, and
right.
When you are in a chair, there's quite a few challenges that are hard to deal with.
So what did you find you and your son are enjoying most about Kansas City?
We've just been playing tourist day and getting out and about, and yeah, we're just loving the people actually, because TV paints a pretty weird picture of America, you know.
Not what you thought?
No, it's not. People are really genuine and friendly, and everyone says g'day. It's kind of cool. They don't say g'day, but they say hello. How are you? Yeah, so it's pretty good.
As a result of our success in sort of moving the clinical and translational research agenda forward, we were fortunate enough to compete for and be awarded a large $20 million NIH grant. And only 60 of these are given out in the United States. And they're only given out to sites that have demonstrated that they are outstanding at doing clinical and translational research, and then with the extra money that the NIH awards the site, that they can do more clinical and translational research and push the boundaries even farther. With this $20 million of money. It's $4 million a year for 5 years. We have been able to do a lot more things that we couldn't do before the grant. One of the things with doing clinical research is there is a lot of regulatory paperwork. And Andrea is a research coordinator, and she spends, in addition to the patient care aspect of it, probably more than half your time doing regulatory work just to keep everything. This has been actually a very big year for getting large NIH awards for the Kansas City region. First was the NIH Clinical and Translational Science Award. Shortly after that, Dr. Burns and Dr. Swerdlow and their Alzheimer's research team received a really coveted NIH Alzheimer's Disease Center Research Award.
We were designated as an Alzheimer's center last year, one of 29 in the country. So we were designated as an Alzheimer's center, which means we have a lot of different things going on. We have a lot of clinical research studies where we're testing drugs. We have our own research where we're interested in how do lifestyle factors like exercise, physical exercise, how does it impact the brain, and how can we use it not only to treat people with Alzheimer's disease, but can we use it to prevent Alzheimer's disease? When we think about exercise, we try to think of it as we think of a drug. So we control the dose by controlling the amount and the intensity. So we exercise as a medicine. We're trying to understand how does exercise impact the brain, how much is enough, is a little enough to provide brain benefits, or do we need to do a whole lot? So we have exercise studies. We're also interested in lifestyle factors besides exercise, like diet, and how does diet influence the brain. So we're studying that in a couple ways. Right now we're looking at, what's the composition of an individual's diet and how might that promote healthy brain aging or unhealthy brain aging. We're also planning a series of classes for the public for a dietitian to basically give information on how do we cook healthy, and cook healthy specifically to promote brain health.
So you have the money, you have the people, you have the infrastructure, and so then you have to accomplish your research. And what does that take? It takes patience. It's a very, very special patient that's willing to sign the consent form, knowing that there are risks to almost any type of research, and say, I want to be part of this research trial, not only because it might help me, but because it might help others.
I think it's a wonderful research facility. From our perspective, it's been helpful in Virginia's Alzheimer's. She's been involved in 3 different studies.
I would very much like to contribute to more knowledge in this field. I feel there will probably be benefits for me personally, but I'm honored, obviously, if this assists others.
Well, the center makes our life easier because it brings together into one space all these different resources. So it makes our life easier because you think of the practical challenges of scheduling and being here to do those procedures, but it makes the participant, the volunteer's job a lot easier.
And then the physicians who are in the trenches seeing patients, even though they hadn't really thought about research, now they're aware that we're making this initiative, and they're actually seeing that it's possible that they may be able to get into the research enterprise as well. And we are lowering the barriers to make it easier for investigators or new investigators to get involved in the research enterprise. One of the reasons that this building, the Clinical Research Center at KU, was constructed was to be a home where we can conduct early phase 1 clinical studies. We did not have a facility like this in Kansas City before. We opened our doors here in June. It was part of the Johnson County tax initiative, which the voters passed in 2008. It showed an amazing foresight by the voters in Johnson County to invest in this sort of facility and in this sort of research. But I know it will pay off, and the Johnson County people and everyone throughout Kansas City will see what a tremendous facility this is and how it's going to result in some amazing research and hopefully cures for diseases.